My name's Haley Steinfeld, and one random workday, I opened my retirement account and saw $540,000 missing, years before I was even allowed to touch it. My sister Brittany didn't deny it. She said she was rebalancing. If you've lived through something similar, share your experience in the comments. My retirement fund was short $540,000, even though I wasn't old enough to touch it. The alert hit my phone as I was walking back from a compliance meeting in our Charlotte FinTech office. New sign-in detected. Nothing dramatic, just that bland push notification tone that usually means someone fat-fingered a password. I opened the app anyway, thumb set to roll my eyes. The balance loaded, and my eyes didn't roll. They locked. A line of completed transactions sat there like fresh tire tracks. Distribution, withdrawal. The kind of words you expect to see when you're 65, not 27 and still arguing with your dentist about what insurance should cover. My hand moved before my face did. Screenshot, another screenshot, Notes app, date, time, what I saw, what I didn't see. The customer service number was one tap away. A robotic voice thanked me for my patience and, in the same breath, told me my contact information had been updated recently. Then it offered me a callback from the fraud team within 30 minutes, like a haircut appointment. My work email chimed. Another alert. Another security update. Before I could decide which one to hate more, my personal phone rang. Brittany. My sister didn't waste time on hellos. You okay? I'm looking at my retirement account. That's why I'm calling, she said, too fast. I'm near Uptown. I can swing by later. That was the second weird thing in 5 minutes. The first was $500,000 vanishing. The second was Brittany acting like my account had a weather forecast. The fraud team didn't call back in 30 minutes. They emailed, asking me to verify my identity and sign a dispute form in person at the Uptown branch before 5 p.m. the next day. Real specific, real urgent. After work, my apartment door barely closed before Brittany knocked. She came in carrying a stack of printed papers like she was delivering jury instructions. "Don't make this a thing," she said. "What did you do?" She exhaled like I'd asked her to explain gravity. "I rebalanced your portfolio." Her tone was calm, parental. The papers were neat, highlighted, tabbed. She'd even used my printer settings, which felt like a flex. "Did you withdraw money from my retirement account?" "It's not like that," Brittany said. "I optimized. You're young. That money just sits there." On my counter sat an envelope from the financial company, torn at the corner, resealed with a fresh label over my address. Brittany followed my eyes and kept talking. "They called to verify, so I handled it," she added, then blinked like she'd stepped on a rake. They called to verify. I hadn't mentioned a call. "Okay," I said, steady. "We'll let the institution define rebalancing." She stared, waiting for a fight. None came. Another screenshot, another note. When the app refreshed, it booted me out. A new message popped up. Two-factor authentication number has been changed. Keys in my hand, I headed for the door, dialing the branch. By the time the Uptown branch answered, Brittany was texting. "Where are you going?" No reply. The line from the branch flipped to an automated menu and scheduled me for fraud review at 9:15 a.m. with government-issued photo ID required, like I'd won a prize. A teller called my name and walked me to a back room. No coffee, no small talk, just a table, 2 chairs, and a man in a navy tie. "Devin," he said, "fraud investigations." He opened a folder. "When did you last access your account?" "Yesterday, after a security alert." "Do you share your login with anyone?" "No." "Have you ever given someone permission to act for you?" "No." He looked up. "Are you sure?" Devin turned the paper toward me. A neat list. Distribution, withdrawal, each stamped completed. "These were requested online," he said, then verified by phone. "Verified by who?" "I can't disclose that," he said, already writing, "but the contact information on file was updated last week." He read the new phone number, not mine. Then the recovery email, a random Gmail address that looked like it had been created in a hurry. My work phone buzzed. HR. Again. HR. I ignored it, signed the first page, and asked for a copy. Devin slid it over without expression. Next steps, he said. We investigate. If it's determined the activity was authorized, it moves to a different review process. Authorized by me, I said. He didn't agree or disagree. He just pushed the pen back toward me. Outside the branch, HR got my call back. Haley, my manager said, payroll flagged a big distribution tied to your name. Benefits needs a note. Are you okay? It's fraud, I said, being investigated. A pause, then. Bring whatever documentation you have. We need to log it. At the office, HR ran the meeting like a traffic stop. Policy language, neutral faces, no comfort offered because comfort implies liability. So you're saying you did not request the distribution? The HR rep said. Correct. And you have reason to believe someone else did? Yes. Who? My sister, I said. Nobody reacted. HR just wrote it down and moved on. My manager asked about taking leave. HR asked if I'd filed a police report. I said no. My family group chat lit up before lunch ended. My mom. Why would you accuse Brittany? Then Brittany, right on schedule. Haley saw statements and got overwhelmed. I was just helping her organize things. Please don't pile on. She followed with a screenshot of a pie chart. No company logo, no account number, just colors and the word allocation. Like that explains a missing $540,000. A private text landed. Stop embarrassing me. Don't make me the villain. In the group chat, she added, She's stressed. Don't judge her. The message wasn't for me. It was a preemptive alibi. I drove to a coffee shop near the courthouse and met Marisol Vega on her lunch break. She showed up in a blazer, set her folder down, and listened while I recited the timeline like I was giving a deposition. When my voice tried to soften into, maybe I'm overreacting, Marisol cut in. Don't, she said. It's my sister. Exactly, she said. If a stranger drained your retirement account, you'd call the police. Don't let blood rewrite vocabulary. She started making a list on a napkin. Logs, change history, names, dates, anything with a timestamp. I called the hotline again, got transferred, and finally reached someone who confirmed one detail Devin wouldn't. The recovery email was changed 7 days ago, the agent said. Send me the maintenance history, I said. We mail it to the address on file. Which isn't mine anymore, I said. Ma'am, I can't confirm that. Marisol watched me hang up. Good news, she said, dry as dust. Your sister has entrepreneurial spirit. Bad news is her startup is funded by your retirement. My phone pinged with an email from the fraud team. The dispute packet needed notarization and had to be submitted by noon Friday. Missed the deadline, and the claim could shift to an authorized activity review. Calendar open, I scrolled, found a notary office, and hit Call Now. Thursday morning, I walked into a tiny print and shipping shop off South Tryon with the dispute packet in a folder and my driver's license in my hand. The clerk at the counter flipped open a logbook and glanced at my forms, signing fresh or matching the sample on file. What sample? I said. She tapped the paper like it was obvious. Your signature card. We keep it for repeat customers. I hadn't been a repeat customer. My pen stopped over the line. She slid a laminated sheet toward me, the kind businesses use when they're tired of explaining the same thing. At the bottom was a scanned signature that looked like mine, the way a Halloween costume looks like a celebrity. Close enough at first glance, wrong once you stare. The loops were too tight. The pressure changed in places my hand doesn't change. Can I take a photo of that? I asked. As long as you're not filming me, she said. A quick snapshot went to my phone. I signed in my normal handwriting, then signed again where the notary pointed, and paid for the stamp like I was buying permission to be robbed correctly. Back in my car, an email from the fraud team arrived with an attachment titled Account Maintenance History. It read like a diary written by someone who hated me. New phone number added. Two-factor reset, mailing address updated, paperless delivery turned on. Each change had a timestamp, a device ID, and an IP location. The location wasn't a street address, but the city tag was close enough to sting. It pinged a neighborhood a few minutes from Brittany's place. The line from the night before came back to me without asking. They called to verify, so I handled it. Handled it, like returning a sweater. I drove straight to the financial company's local office downtown, folder on the passenger seat, notary stamp still smelling like fresh ink. The front desk smiled and asked how they could help. I said fraud. The smile stayed, but it stopped meaning anything. A representative named Kim brought me to a small conference room and pulled up my account. "I'm locked out," I said. My two-factor number was changed. Kim nodded. "We see that. The case is open." "Great," I said. "I want my access restored, and I want the recording of the verification call." "That recording isn't something we provide," Kim said. "Then a transcript," I said, "or the number it was made from." Kim's hands stayed folded. "Those require legal process, subpoena, court order. So my sister can drain my retirement, but I need a court order to hear the call that let her do it." Kim didn't react. "I understand why you feel frustrated." That was the polite version of no. In the parking garage, I sent Brittany a text that kept my language as boring as possible. "Send me every document you used to rebalance my account. Everything." Her reply came fast. "Stop spiraling. If you file this, the taxes and penalties are on you. I'm trying to save you from being stupid." A second message followed, like she was looping my mother in by reflex. "Mom says you're upset. Don't let yourself get worked up." Then a PDF landed in our thread. Authorization form. My name typed neatly at the top. A signature at the bottom that tried very hard to be mine. I wrote back one line. "This looks like I signed with my left hand during an allergy attack." The file saved to my phone. I forwarded it to Marisol with the timestamp and the maintenance history attached. No commentary, just evidence. Marisol answered a minute later. "Tomorrow, 9 a.m., Trade Street. Bring every scan and that change log. Don't tell your family." By the time I got home, the metal door on my mailbox hung open. A few envelopes were gone, not all, just the ones that mattered. My phone started vibrating before I could close it. Mom's name filled the screen. "Haley," she said, breathless, "get over here right now. Brittany says you're trying to blame her." Mom's driveway was full when I pulled up. Brittany's SUV sat by the garage. Mom opened the door before I knocked. "Haley, come in," she said. Brittany had set the dining table like a hearing. Uncle Ray sat at the end with his hands folded. Mom stood behind him, arms crossed. Brittany faced them with a binder and a stack of papers. "There she is," Brittany said. "She's been panicking." "I'm not panicking," I said, and placed my phone on the table. Uncle Ray looked between us. "Your mother says this got ugly fast." Brittany pushed the binder toward me. "I didn't steal anything. I was helping." She flipped to a tab labeled Authorization and laid out the printed PDF with my name on top. A few statement pages followed. The signature at the bottom tried to be mine and failed. "That came from your email," I said. "It came from her account," Brittany said, "with her signature. What else do you want?" Mom's jaw tightened. "Brittany says you've been overwhelmed at work." Brittany took the cue. "She's obsessive. She doesn't sleep. Last night she was shaking." "That's not true," I said. Uncle Ray raised a hand. "Let's not shout." Brittany turned to Mom. "For everyone's sake, you should keep the financial mail here for now. Safe place. No more surprises." She said it like she was offering to hold my spare key. Mom hesitated, then nodded. "Mom, that's my account," I said. Brittany shrugged. "Then you shouldn't mind extra security." My phone buzzed. HR. A new message. I opened it, read it, and set the phone back down. "Haley," my manager had written, "your system access is suspended pending review. Don't log in until cleared." Brittany watched my face like she could measure damage. Uncle Ray leaned toward the binder. "So you're saying you never authorized her?" I'm saying my contact info was changed, I said. Two-factor number, recovery email, mailing address. Then the withdrawals were verified by phone. Brittany shook her head slowly. Listen to her. She's spiraling. Brittany reached into her purse and produced a stack of envelopes. Each one had my name, but none had my address. See, she said, this is what's been coming. You miss everything. Mom nodded, treating the mail like proof of character. Those were in my mailbox yesterday, I said. They're gone now. Brittany stayed calm. Because you can't handle surprises. She slid the envelopes to Mom and pulled the mail basket closer to her side of the counter. Uncle Ray watched it happen and didn't stop her. Let your mom hold the paperwork, he said, just for now. Marisol called. I stepped into the hallway to answer. Where are you? She asked, and I could hear voices behind me through the receiver. At my mom's? Don't argue in that house, Marisol said. Leave. Keep your phone. Keep your digital proof. Everything else is replaceable. From the dining room, Brittany's voice rose. Ray, tell her she needs help. I ended the call and walked back in with the dispute packet. The notary stamp was still fresh. This has to be filed by noon tomorrow, I said. Fraud team deadline. Brittany's smile tightened. And if you file it, the taxes and penalties land on you. I'm trying to save you from that. Then explain why my mailbox was open, I said. Explain why an envelope from the firm had my address covered with a new label. Mom blinked. What label? Brittany's eyes slid toward the mail basket on the counter. That tiny movement answered more than her mouth ever would. Uncle Ray cleared his throat. Haley, maybe take a breath. I'm leaving, I said. Brittany pushed her chair back. Haley, don't do this. Keys in hand, I walked out the front door and stopped on the steps. Marisol's text with the lawyer's number sat on my screen. I hit call and spoke the second it connected. Hi, my name is Haley Steinfeld. I need an emergency order. The door swung open behind me. Where are you going? Brittany called. You're really going to make this a big thing? I popped the trunk, pulled my folder out, and kept talking into the phone. The next morning, the lobby on Trade Street smelled like copier toner and burnt coffee. Marisol met me at the door, waved me past reception, and said, phone on silent, not off. Her folder was thicker than mine, which was impressive considering mine contained my entire sense of safety. We sat across from a woman in a gray blazer who introduced herself without shaking hands. I'm Dana Whitaker. Your sister is Brittany Steinfeld, correct? Yes. And the account owner is you? Yes. Dana slid a yellow pad forward. Start from the first alert, dates and times. Notes opened, and the timeline came out the way incident reports come out at work, clipped and factual. While I talked, Dana stacked my screenshots, the maintenance history, the notarized dispute packet, and the PDF Brittany had sent, like she was building a paper wall. Did you ever give Brittany access? Dana asked. Not to withdraw, I said. Dana waited. There was no place to hide in that pause. A few years earlier, during a job change, I'd rolled an old 401k into a new IRA. Brittany had offered to help with the paperwork because she had more free time and liked feeling useful. I'd let her scan forms at her place. I'd let her watch me log in once. I'd also switched everything to paperless because I hated mail piling up. It was a rollover, I said. She helped me upload documents. That's it. Dana nodded as if she'd heard that sentence 1,000 times. And you trusted your family more than your settings. Marisol leaned in and pointed at one line on the transaction list. This code here, external transfer, ending in 4821. And this note field, she tapped again. A name sat in the margins, short and bland. M. Carter. Dana copied it onto her pad. That's our thread, the receiving account and whoever touched it internally. So you can get the call recording, I asked? Not today, Dana said. We can demand records, but the firm will move faster with a subpoena. For freezing money, we may need a court order. That takes time, and time is what thieves spend. My phone buzzed twice in my pocket. Mom. Then Brittany. I didn't answer either. Another ping followed, this one from HR. Access suspended until further notice. I turned the screen toward Dana. She told me to forward every workplace notice to my personal email and to stop logging into anything from the office network. Marisol nodded, already drafting a timeline entry. Then she asked for the timestamp. Dana watched the screen light through my jeans. If you push this, your family may decide you're the problem. They already did, I said. Dana slid another form over. This is a sworn statement. You'll sign that you didn't authorize distributions and that the signature on the so-called authorization isn't yours. Marisol pushed my pen closer. No speech, just the pen. I signed. Dana notarized my signature in-house, then walked through next steps like a checklist. Call the plan administrator and open a fraud case, she said. Ask for a fraud affidavit number. Ask how they report distributions to the IRS. Want I get a 1099, I asked. You might, she said. We'll document that it was unauthorized. You may also file an identity theft report with the IRS if needed. But first, we keep the timeline clean. Dana gathered the documents into a binder. We'll request device logs, call verification details, and the full maintenance history. We'll also trace the transfers tied to that 4821 account. Marisol stood. And you stop negotiating with Brittany. Dana nodded. No more texts except through counsel. No meetings at your mother's. You don't win in living rooms. Outside, my hands felt empty without the folder. The evidence was still mine, just not in my seat anymore. In the parking deck, I sat in my car, rested my phone on the steering wheel, and hit the fraud team number Dana had circled. When the line picked up, my mouth moved before nerves could get a vote. I want to open an unauthorized withdrawal case right now, and I have a timeline and a suspect device. The fraud team picked up on the second ring. This is Alana with investigations, she said. Can you verify your identity? She ran through security questions like a bank teller reading a script, then asked me to spell my email. When I gave it, she paused. That isn't the recovery email currently on file, Alana said. I know, I said. That's the problem. She pulled up the case notes while I stayed parked in the deck under Dana's office, phone on speaker, hands flat on the steering wheel so I wouldn't start doing something stupid like calling my mother for comfort. Your account shows multiple distributions, Alana said. Not one event, several. How many? 7, she said, over months. 7. Brittany hadn't sprinted into my retirement account. She'd moved into it. Alana kept going, steady and professional. The activity appears inconsistent with your normal access pattern, she said. But the file also shows changes to contact information, and verification was completed by phone. That can make it look authorized if the wrong person controls the contact channel. So you're saying it's fraud, I said. I'm saying it has indicators of unauthorized activity, she replied. We'll send that in writing. An email arrived before the call even ended. Preliminary findings. It didn't say my sister stole from me. It said, account owner disputes authorization and multiple red flags present, like my life had been reduced to bullet points. Alana read off details I'd already seen, but now they had weight. The 2-factor number change, paperless activation, mailing address update. She added one more line that made my jaw lock. Some documents were uploaded through a third-party scan service, she said. Those uploads are tagged to a device associated with previous account maintenance. Previous maintenance, I repeated, like my rollover. Alana didn't confirm. She didn't need to. Brittany had used my most boring life event as a doorstop. Dana called while Alana was still on the line. I switched over. Fraud says indicators, I said. They're sending it in writing. Good, Dana said. Now the bad part. Your sister retained counsel. A second email popped up, this one forwarded from Dana's office. A letter from an attorney claiming I had authorized Brittany Steinfeld to assist with management of financial matters. It used phrases like family arrangement and routine oversight, as if my retirement account was a shared pantry. Dana didn't waste time being shocked. They're trying to make this civil, she said. If they turn it into a family dispute, the firm moves slower and the clawback gets harder. Alana came back on the other line with a new tone. Because there's an alleged authorization document in circulation, she said, the recovery process may pause until we validate signatures and access logs. So you freeze my money because my sister forged paperwork? We have to follow procedure, Alana said. Procedure. My favorite word, right up until it started protecting the wrong person. HR followed up next. Not a call, just an email. Access suspension extended pending resolution. No system access meant no work. No work meant no paycheck breathing room. Brittany's plan didn't just drain an account. It leaned on my job like a pressure point. Dana asked me to forward everything. HR notices, the fraud team letter, Brittany's attorney letter, the maintenance history. Marisol texted, short and sharp. Do not answer your mom. Do not answer Brittany. Keep collecting. By late afternoon, Dana sent another message. We traced part of the flow, she wrote. Funds moved to a business account tied to Brittany. Also, an escrow deposit in progress. Escrow. That word landed differently than distribution. A business account sounded like greed. Escrow sounded like a deadline. Dana called again. There's a pending real estate transaction, she said. If that escrow releases, those funds get harder to unwind. What do you need from me? Permission to move fast, Dana said. And you need to stay predictable. No confrontation. My phone lit up with Brittany's name anyway. I let it ring out. Dana kept talking. We can request an emergency freeze on related accounts, she said, but we'll need identifiers. The receiving account digits, any transaction codes, anything you can pull. The fraud team email sat open. I scrolled to the line with the external transfer code Marisol had flagged, then copied the last 4 digits into a new message to Dana. Dana's voice stayed level. If we don't act now, the money will look clean by Monday, she said. The steering wheel creaked under my grip as I opened my contacts and tapped the fraud team number again. Then we block the pipe, I said, watching the call connect, right where it's flowing. By 8:30 a.m., Dana had me back at the Uptown branch, not as a customer, but as a file. Alana from Investigations, joined by speaker, and a manager named Devin sat across the table with a recorder running for the record. Dana slid a binder forward. Timeline, maintenance history, and the disputed authorization, she said. Devin nodded. Walk us through it, he said. Pages moved in the order Marisol drilled into me. Alert, screenshots, 2-factor change, recovery email swap, mailing label photo, signature sample from the notary shop, Brittany's PDF. Devin didn't comment. He just marked timestamps with a pen that clicked after every line. Alana said, we're also requesting the receiving account details. Dana pointed at the code. External transfer ending 4821, she said. We believe funds flowed to a business account and into an escrow deposit, Devin typed. Escrow for what? Dana answered. A home purchase closing this week. If the deposit clears, tracing gets harder. A phone rang in the hallway. Devin glanced at the screen and looked back up. Your sister is in the lobby, he said. She asked to speak with the investigator. Dana raised her eyebrows at me like, here we go. Devin stepped out and returned with Brittany, dressed like she was meeting a realtor. She smiled at everyone, except me. Brittany set a folder on the table. I'm glad we're all together, she said. This is a family plan that's being misunderstood. Alana's voice came through the speaker. Ma'am, you are not the account owner. Brittany kept smiling. Haley asked for help. She doesn't like dealing with paperwork. I rebalanced her portfolio. It's still her money. Dana leaned forward. Then you won't mind explaining why you changed her 2-factor number. Brittany blinked once. She told me to. She loses phones. She didn't lose a phone yesterday, Dana said. Devin asked, did Haley authorize distributions? Yes, Brittany said. She just regrets it now because she's stressed. Mom's language, delivered with a better blazer. Alana's tone tightened. We have to rely on records. Ma'am, did you participate in a verification call for these transactions? Brittany laughed softly. Of course. They called. I helped. That's what sisters do. Devin tapped his keyboard and turned his monitor slightly, enough for everyone to see without leaning. This badge log is from Haley's employer, he said. It shows she was on site during the verification call time. Brittany shrugged. She could have stepped out. Dana said, her office uses controlled access. The call happened at 2:14 p.m. The outbound verification device was logged near your residence at 2:13. Brittany's smile slipped, then came back too fast. IP addresses aren't exact. Devin clicked again. We also have the maintenance history. Recovery email changed on Monday. Two-factor number changed Tuesday. Paperless turned on Wednesday. First distribution requested Thursday. He looked at Brittany. All from the same device fingerprint. Brittany stared at the binder like it might rearrange itself. Alana said, "We can play the verification recording under internal review." Brittany straightened. "Play it." Dana didn't stop her. Alana pressed a button. A tinny phone line filled the room. "Hi, this is Brittany," my sister's voice said, bright and practiced. "I'm calling for Haley. She's unavailable, but I can verify." The agent asked security questions. Brittany answered without pausing, including my mother's maiden name, including the last four of my social, like it was her own. Brittany's hands tightened around her folder. "That's out of context," she said. Dana spoke evenly. "I just want to clarify. Rebalancing isn't moving retirement money into your name." Devin slid a printed notice across the table. "Funds related to the transfer routes you used are being placed on hold pending investigation," he said, "including the escrow deposit." Dana's assistant emailed the escrow company while we sat there, and later Brittany's realtor texted her immediately. "Funds on hold. Verification required." Brittany stood so fast her chair scraped. "You can't do that." Devin didn't look up. We just did. In the parking lot, Brittany chased after us, phone already dialing someone else. "Haley," she shouted, "you're killing me." The phone kept buzzing as the elevator climbed. Dana held her briefcase like a shield. "Don't answer," she said. "Not your mother, not Brittany. Let the paperwork do the talking." By Monday, the escrow company had flagged the deposit. Brittany's realtor had backed away, and the fraud team issued a formal letter. Unauthorized withdrawals, pending recovery. Devin emailed a case number. HR emailed a different one, lifting my suspension once Dana forwarded the findings. 3 weeks after Brittany screamed in that parking lot, I sat on a hard bench at Mecklenburg County Courthouse with Marisol. Dana stood at the rail with a stack of stamped copies. Brittany arrived late, hair perfect, eyes puffy, carrying the same binder like it was a life raft. Her attorney didn't look at me. When the judge called the case, Brittany tried to speak first. "Your Honor, this is a misunderstanding." "Ma'am," the judge said, "you'll speak when your counsel asks." The prosecutor read the timeline in plain language. Contact info changed, verification call made by Brittany, 7 distributions, money routed through a business account, and escrow deposit stopped midstream. Hearing it like that felt less like family drama and more like someone reading out a recipe. Brittany's attorney leaned close and whispered. Brittany nodded, then swallowed. "I accept responsibility," she said. "I thought I could fix things." Dana didn't react. Marisol's shoe tapped once and stopped. The judge set conditions: restitution, a payment schedule, no contact, and a guilty plea that followed her into every background check. Brittany flinched at the phrase financial fraud like it was a stain she could dab off with a napkin. Outside the courtroom, Mom stood near a vending machine, hands clenched around her purse strap. She looked from Brittany to me, then at the floor. "Can you two just—" "Not today," Dana interrupted, gentle but firm. Brittany's eyes locked on mine. "I was doing it for us," she said. "Do you know what it's like trying to keep everything afloat?" I kept my voice level. "I know what it's like to open an account and see it empty." Her attorney pulled her away before she could answer. That afternoon, Alana from Investigations called with numbers instead of sympathy. "We recovered and returned $312,000, she said. "The remaining balance is still in dispute or unrecoverable at this stage." 2 days later, a process server handed Brittany the no-contact order at her office. Her partner emailed her that their accounts were being reviewed, then removed her signing authority. The house she'd been bragging about went back on the market. The escrow agent didn't call me, she called Brittany, and Brittany didn't pick up. A partial return should have felt like relief. It felt like math. Dana walked me through the next steps anyway. An amended statement from the firm, documentation for the IRS, and a file thick enough to prove the distributions weren't mine. My mailbox began filling again, this time with envelopes that actually had my address. Mom texted once a week after that, mostly updates about church and the weather. When she asked if I'd visit, the answer stayed simple. I can come by Sunday afternoon, but Brittany can't be there. She didn't argue. She just sent a thumbs up, like agreeing to a dentist appointment. Marisol met me at my apartment to help lock down everything Brittany had touched. New email, new phone number, two-factor on every account, including the ones that felt too boring to matter. Paper statements for anything tied to my identity. Trusted contact changed to Marisol, which made her laugh. "Congratulations," she said. "You adopted a paralegal." At the bank, I signed a security update form and handed it back. "I just did what I should have done at the start," I told Marisol. "Set a stronger password than family." Back home, Brittany's name still lived in my phone like a splinter. Standing by the door, I opened my contacts, hit edit, and deleted her number. The binder Dana gave me went into a small locking cabinet. The key turned once, then again. I dropped it into a little box by the entryway as my phone lit up with an unknown number and started ringing.